Ladies and gentlemen, our ceremony is about to begin. This graduation is a family event, so please feel free to take photos both as the recruit class marches in as well as during the graduation ceremony. All I ask is that you keep the center aisle clear and open as much as possible and take into account others who are taking pictures as well of their loved ones.
Gary, mark time, mark. Left, your left. Left, your left, your left.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand and remain standing for the advancement of the colors, the singing of the national anthem, and the invocation by Chaplain Coffey. Honor Guard, advance the colors.
Half right, face!
At this time, probationary troopers Teresa Bowling and Kevin King will sing our national anthem.
Honor Guard, officers, reset, off!
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fire o'er the rampart we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ready, fight! Officer, order, on! Academy, half left, race!
Father Daniel Coffey, our state police chaplain, will now give the invocation. Father Coffey.
We begin this invocation with a moment of silence in memory of Charlestown police officer Ben Bertram. Almighty God, our Creator and Redeemer, during this season of the year that is most especially associated with gratitude, giving, love, family, and friends, we gather for this special ceremony, and upon which we beseech thy supernal blessing. As we formally assemble for the recognition of and the commencement for these new troopers, our hearts are full of gratitude and exhilaration for a truly good and noble cause that is proceeding forward into the next generation. May the light of faith, hope, and love motivate, sustain, and enable them with the will and the ability to accomplish the challenges and opportunities which are to come. May your blessings be upon them all and their service from henceforth and forevermore. As we are united in heart, mind, and spirit, we collectively remember the family and friends of Charlestown police officer Ben Bertram, who made the ultimate sacrifice last night for the cause of peace and safety within his community. We pray for thy mercy, compassion, and grace to envelop, to comfort, and to sustain all who know, love, and honor this hero of public safety. We also remember and pray for the Richmond School Corporation, which experienced a very difficult time today, a moment of terror, a moment of tragedy. We ask thy comfort and strength to be upon them, to bless the school board, the staff and faculty, the students and families of that school corporation, that you would extend to them your loving hand, that you would enshrine them with your peace. Holy God, Holy Almighty, Holy Immortal, have mercy upon us and hear our prayer. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Superintendent Carter, Justice Massa, Mr. Stair, Mr. Goad, Executive Director Horty, Indiana State Police Board, members of the primary staff, survivor families, distinguished guests, Ohio State Highway Patrol officers, family and friends. I am Sergeant Harless, the Protocol Officer for the Indiana State Police, and on behalf of Superintendent Carter, the primary staff, the training division, the Recruit Academy staff, and the rest of the Indiana State Police family, we want to welcome you to the 78th Indiana State Police Recruit graduation. I would now like to have Captain Dana Harshman, the Training Division Assistant Commander, come up to the podium and tell us what this recruit class has experienced to graduate and become Indiana State Police probationary troopers. She will then present the 78th recruit class to the superintendent. Captain Harshman.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are here tonight to recognize and honor 54 dedicated individuals, 49 men and 5 women who are about to embark on careers as Indiana State Troopers. This fine group of recruits started their training on July 15, 2018, and are the final product of 22 weeks of intensive training and education. This process required hard work, dedication, and a commitment second to none. Their training and education covered a broad range of knowledge, skills, and abilities. Each component of their training was essential in preparing them for the responsibilities they are about to assume. Their capabilities have been developed and fine-tuned to enable them to make critical decisions in a variety of diverse circumstances in a constantly changing and evolving environment. The motto of the Indiana State Police Recruit Academy is excellence through discipline. The Recruit Academy staff and numerous instructors have given a vast amount of time, effort, and talent to transform these 54 individuals into the graduating members of the 78th Recruit Academy class. They have instilled in them the passion to serve the citizens of Indiana to the best of their ability as Indiana State Troopers. 100% effort, 100% of the time. The journey these recruits undertook while in the academy was different than anything they have ever done or will ever do again. The class received over 600 hours of classroom instruction and just over 400 hours of hands-on, practical, scenario-based training. This totals 1,018 hours of training in just 22 weeks. In order to graduate, each recruit had to successfully complete 5 physical assessments set forth by the Indiana Law Enforcement Training Board and the Indiana State Police Department. Their diligence, perseverance, and most importantly, teamwork allowed them to meet and in many cases surpass the academic and physical standards of excellence expected of them. Family and friends should be very proud of their accomplishments. With that said, Superintendent Carter, the 78th Indiana State Police Recruit Academy presents to you 54 probationary troopers ready for appointment.
Academy, take seat.
I believe that needs applause. It is now my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce the dignitaries present at this evening's graduation ceremony and ask that they stand to be recognized. The Honorable Mark Massa, the 107th Supreme Court Justice of Indiana. Superintendent Douglas Carter, the 20th Superintendent of the Indiana State Police. Mr. John Stair, Channel 13 Eyewitness News co-anchor. Mr. Bob Goad, personal friend of the superintendent. Mr. Tim Horty, Executive Director of the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. Then we have members of the superintendent's primary staff, Colonel Mark French, Chief of Staff. Lieutenant Colonel Larry Turner, Investigations. Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Bilkey, Operations. Major Charles Sorrells, Human Resources and Administration. Major Mike White, Communication and Information Systems. Major Danny Price, Commander, Indiana State Police Training Division. Again, Captain Dana Harshman, Assistant Commander of the Training Division. Sergeant Michael Wood, Assistant Commander of the Indiana State Police Recruit Academy. And our chaplain, Father Daniel Coffey. And now please join me in welcoming the 20th Superintendent of the Indiana State Police, Douglas G. Carter.
Man, the days go slow and years go fast. I'll get to my formal remarks here in just a second, but to all the family members out there, I hope the beds are getting made at home. Yeah? Are they? Are you making your bed at home? Okay, good, good. I told you that would happen over time. That's the purpose of a lot of what we've done. Unfortunately for the folks that are on the third and fourth floor, you might have a hard time hearing us, but we welcome everybody that's here tonight from all over Indiana. Thank you very much. And welcome to this graduation ceremony of the 78th Indiana State Police Recruit School. This beautiful place offers proper recognition to each recruit and, as importantly, each of you. It does not seem like that long ago that I spoke with you at Family Day, though for some of you it may have seemed like an eternity ago. From the depth of my soul, I say thank you, and to each recruit, a very sincere congratulations. We are so fortunate to have Justice Mark Massa, a Justice of the Indiana Supreme Court, here with us tonight. Thank you, Justice Massa, for your service, commitment, and time that you have given us, but most importantly, your commitment to the state of Indiana. Also, a sincere thanks to members of the State Police Board that are with us tonight. I am so grateful for your steadfast leadership and commitment to the ISP. Mr. Reuben Hill, Kathy Bovel, Dave Graves, Jimmy Olszewski, and Senator Tom Weiss. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Governor Holcomb's cabinet members that are here, specifically the Governor's Chief of Staff, Earl Good, Deputy Chief of Staff, Chris Johnston, and Sam Heyer. It's a pleasure what you have allowed us to do and the way in which we interact with Governor Holcomb and his senior team is something very, very special. And I'd compare it to almost anything that any of us have done before, and I'm so grateful. To the members of the ISP, members of the Ohio State Highway Patrol, local law enforcement agencies, family and friends, and of course, a very special recognition to my wife, Carol, and my daughter, Leanne. I love you both so very much, and I'm so, so grateful for your steadfast support. Where to begin? I think I'll start with one of the first times I had the opportunity to address your loved ones. Since recruit school is a rite of passage to become an Indiana trooper, I was well aware of what was about to happen. Your recruit was going to transition from wanting a job to this becoming a career, and finally to the ISP becoming a part of who they are. In the beginning, they were lost, wondering what they had possibly done to their individual lives, did not know the name of the person sitting next to them, in front of them, or behind them, and the unknowns were flying around uncontrollably in their minds. In other words, they had no idea what was about to happen. What did happen, and by the way, it was very predictable, was that they found their spot. They realized they were part of something much bigger than themselves. And not only do they now know each other, they are inextricably connected forever. To the staff, Major Danny Price and all, please be proud of what you've accomplished. Each of you are also forever etched in the minds of the other. I witnessed you all transition from disciplinarian, drill instructor, commander, organizer, counselor, into teachers, mentors, confidants, and role models. A job well done. I'm so very proud of your commitment, dedication, and that you gave so very much of yourself for others. And isn't that what the ISP is all about? There is no greater commitment to the earthly existence than the commitment to others, and you have exhibited that commitment at a very, very high level. You are owed a debt of gratitude that likely can never be repaid. The memories of this place and these recruits are yours forever and can never be extracted from your minds. Remember them always. Just yesterday, I had the privilege of joining the class of 1993 to present their 25-year certificates and pins. Two of the counselors in that school were Major Ed Schroeder, our North Zone Major, soon to be the Sheriff of Cass County, and retired Trooper Terry Corso, who were both in attendance. The consistent theme of the event was how fast the years have gone and how the counselors had such a significant influence on the graduating cadets. Well done. I think that most of you would agree that America is in crisis and that the many challenges we face are unlike anything we have faced in recent memory and likely for decades. The erosion of public trust, mass killings, acts of terrorism on American soil, distrust of police officers, violent crime that rocks our very conscience, a drug epidemic that has affected every community in this country and has ripped apart the fabric of American families and nearly destroyed the thought that we can live in peace without fear of victimization or addiction. We cannot accept the status quo. The markers and trends are unacceptable, and we cannot sit idly by and pass them on to the next generation. Now is our time. We must not accept the status quo. How about we not blame others and take some personal responsibility? How about we exhibit empathy and compassion for others even when we disagree? How about we recognize that all cultures are not the same, so we should not expect them to be? Let's not hate even when others do. You see, the degradation of public trust is very real, and our profession is not without sin. While we cannot change the historical context of this degradation, we can commit to not repeating the sins of our past and do all we can every day and every time to rebuild public trust. Some would say that now is likely the most challenging time to enter this profession, or may even ask you why you would choose this profession since there is so much negativity surrounding American law enforcement. I would suggest that there has never been a more important time to join this profession or for your willingness, commitment, or desire because of the historic and extraordinary opportunity that each of you have. Now bear with me for a moment. On November the 30th of 2018, a great American patriot, public servant, and the 41st President of the United States died. In the days that followed, we witnessed unity, calm, peaceful debate, political balance, and a collaborative approach to historic challenges. There seemed to be hope on the national stage as R's stood with D's, D's stood with R's, and all others stood with both. Hurtful words and painful rhetoric seemed to be non-existent, and peace came over us all because of one man, President George H.W. Bush. I say all of this to each of you because you have the exact same opportunity to influence others as he did. The theme of his life and that of his sons was service. So whether you stay a trooper in rural Indiana or become a local, state, or national leader, please know that now is your time and imagine the possibilities. You, have to change the cycle of addiction, of hate, of violence, of disrespect, and the many other descriptors that define human existence today. We've had these conversations before. I refuse to say that it is all okay today because it is not. Each of you must commit to developing trust in your local communities, trust with your citizens through your actions, and understand that you will have to give way more than you will ever receive. We all can live in peace on this planet, but you must do your part and not expect everybody to believe or love like you. You have chosen the right path if you really commit your life to service. Imagine the possibilities if our citizens trusted us. Would the many acts of mass murders have occurred? Could we intervene before bad things continue to happen to good, honorable people like you? Would the culture of drug and violence become the social epidemic that has spun out of control? I'm not sure about you, but I think the answer is no. I'm not suggesting that none of these things would occur, but I cannot help but believe that those horrible situations could have been reduced and maybe some even prevented. Make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, the devil is alive and well. But I believe with every ounce of my being that we are stronger together than apart. And I'm talking about the relationship between American law enforcement and our citizens. Negative perceptions are largely based on very few incidents, situations, or individual decisions, because we all know that 99.9% of law enforcement officers would die for someone that hates who they are, and they have. Think about that. Recruits, you're embarking on the second chapter of this complex journey. Your days, nights, weekends, and holidays are forever changed. Keep learning, keep listening, and keep trying. You are going to experience death, dying, destruction, hurt, pain, and sorrow. Never lose sight of the empathy, compassion, and human understanding that makes you who you are and that has been ingrained in you while at recruit school. Remember what Colonel French said on day one. Strive to be that quiet professional. And each of you know and understands what that means. Do not turn away or turn off your family, because they do not and cannot understand what you have or will experience. To the families, thank you for sharing. Know that you have the entire resources of the ISP to support your trooper and your family. I so hope that you never hesitate to ask, because I suspect that somewhere and somehow we can help or assist you along the way. This is one of my favorite nights of the year because you're looking at the luckiest man on the planet Earth. I get to represent our profession at a level I never dreamt of as a little boy growing up in a state police family. Never in my wildest dreams did I think Governor Holcomb would allow me to be the superintendent of the ISP, but I love this place. I love this agency, and I love these people. I gladly shoulder tremendous responsibility for each of these new troopers and will always strive to protect, train, equip, and care for them. You see, they and you are now a part of me, but most importantly are a part of us. To my staff and so many members of the ISP, both sworn and civilian, that make all of this happen, my most sincere thanks. To commanders and guys and gals from districts all over Indiana that have come tonight to be a part of this, you have my sincerest gratitude. And finally, my prayer for all of you is that the good Lord always ride with you, protect you, care for you, and one day say thank you, you good and faithful servant. Now enjoy the ride. The next person that's on your agenda is Mr. Bob Goad. And he already spoke to the recruits, but since he was still on the agenda and he's on the stage, I'm going to do something he'll be really upset with me about over time. But I have this now amazing opportunity. See, I never thought an opportunity like this would come for me, because the man I tried to introduce has become a mentor, a confidant to me and to many others, but most importantly, one of my dearest friends, probably my dearest friend. Bob Goad knows as much about our agency as anyone alive, is committed and has committed himself in a way that has inspired us all. Bob has owned, managed, and run businesses, companies, large and small, all over the world. And in 2013, decided to immerse himself into the ISP out of a sense of duty and service to others. And man, am I glad he did. Over the course of the last 6 years, I feel like I've been a doctoral student with one professor. And while you won't be able to hear him tonight because he's losing his voice, I want to say, with every ounce of who I am, Bob Goad, you've made me a better person. You've made me a better man, and you've made these people better servants. I'm eternally grateful. Thank you. Dang, Michelle, that was so nice. Okay. I've been so excited to introduce your commencement speaker. John Stair has literally been the voice of Indianapolis in central Indiana for nearly 2.5 decades as an anchor for WTHR Channel 13. John began his broadcasting career while in college, studying radio TV in Erie, Pennsylvania. He was born and raised in Pittsburgh and graduated from Gannon University in 1980. John's career has taken him from Erie, Pennsylvania, where he was the youngest anchor man in the country, to Grand Rapids, Michigan, to Indianapolis, Indiana, on to Salt Lake City, Utah, and then all the way east to New York City. But John's final stop was right here in Indianapolis, where he has faithfully served our community since 1995. John has been a recipient of multiple Emmys, 2 for Best Anchor, and awards for his work associated with the 13 Listens Community Project and for his documentary on Indiana Senator Richard Lugar and his efforts to disarm Russia following the collapse of the Soviet Union. John earned the Distinguished Alumni Award from Gannon University, and in 2018 was the winner of the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences Silver Circle Award. John has 5 children, ages 12 to 29, and has been married to Amy since 2003. Amy's first husband was Trooper Richard Gaston, who was killed in the line of duty on March the 4th, 1999. At the end of this month, John will be retiring from broadcasting after 42 years of distinguished service. John, please know that Indianapolis and Indiana is better because of your service. You have brought calm to chaos, unity to division, and serenity to extreme sadness. I wish you all the best and hope after a short vacation, and when your honey-do list is done, that you will somehow re-engage a state that owes you a tremendous debt of gratitude. My honor to welcome Mr. John Stair.
Well, I'd like to thank Superintendent Carter. I'd also like to recognize Justice Massa here tonight, the State Police Board, the State Police officers who are here, and of course all of our new troopers and their families and loved ones who are here with us tonight. Now, before I go any further, I want you to know that I know what you're thinking. Why is this guy talking to us? And that's a fair point, because I am an unconventional choice to come and talk to you tonight, because I am not in law enforcement. I'm not even in habitual law breaking, as far as you know. Well, except for when I drive on I-465, but I want you to know that I'm just keeping up with the other traffic. And I'd like you all to keep that in mind if we ever meet by the side of the road someday soon. And as you heard, I've been in television news for over 40 years, and I may not know what police work is like from the inside, but I do know what it's like on TV. And one of my go-tos when I think about that is the TV show Hill Street Blues. Now, many of you are too young to remember Hill Street Blues, but I'll tell you something. It always started the same way. Sergeant Phil Esterhaus was at roll call, and he would talk about a couple of issues that would be the plot of the show that night. And when he was finished, he always ended with these words: hey, let's be careful out there. It was a great show. But rest assured, I do know that this is real life, This is not a TV show tonight, and I understand that this is a momentous occasion for all of you as you prepare to use your training and begin your careers with the Indiana State Police. So I thought I would do some research, and I looked up the Indiana State Police motto: integrity, service, professionalism. So let's start with integrity. As a news reporter, I have been a very close observer of law enforcement for over 4 decades now, and I have seen a lot of good things that state troopers and officers have done, more than I can count. But there have also been cases of officers behaving badly, and you know what? I can count those. I can count those because we remember those, and that is basic human nature. People want to know when things go wrong. So if a trooper stops a crime simply by being present, or catches the bad guy in the act, or acts as a role model for someone to keep them from making bad decisions, well, that's what you're supposed to do. And the truth is, that's not news. The reality is, if you do the right thing 100 out of 100 times, few people are going to know about it. But if on that 101st time you take a shortcut, or you don't follow procedures, or abuse your badge and authority, chances are people are going to know. Integrity is defined as having strong moral principles, not most of the time, but all of the time. Service. Service is defined as helping or doing work for someone. Well, tonight in this great rotunda, with these strong leaders and the fellow troopers that you have bonded with over the last 6 months and your loved ones at your side, this is all about you, make no mistake. But keep in mind, this is the people's house, and when you leave here tonight and begin your next shift, it's not about you anymore. It's not about the superintendent, it's not about the governor, not about your shift commander. It's about the people that you've sworn to serve. The Indiana State Police is the only agency to have statewide law enforcement authority. You have the right to keep Hoosiers accountable to the laws of the state, but always remember that they have the right to keep you accountable too. And professionalism, the competence or skill expected of a professional. You would not be here tonight if your commanders and your trainers didn't think you were competent, or if they thought you were lacking in skill. You are the next generation of a long line of state troopers who have served this state for 85 years. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter who you know. You can't go out to Macy's and buy that uniform. You have to earn it. And you have to earn the badge, which you'll be getting tonight. They don't just hand them out. And you will be compelled every day for the rest of your career to earn those honors. This is not an end. This is the beginning. Now, I realize all of this is a lot, but I want to give you one more word to think about, and that is perspective. And as someone who is very close to the end of my career, I can tell you that everybody wants to be effective in their job. Doesn't matter what their job is, they want to be effective. And the best way to be happy and effective at work is to be happy and effective at home. Now, for me, that begins with my wife, Amy. She has been a wonderful partner and support. And when I put out a 1078 call, she is there every time. And she's also a personal connection for me to the law enforcement community. As a state police survivor who has continued her commitment by serving on the board of Cops Cycling for Survivors. Now, I know it doesn't have to be another person to help you with perspective, but I do hope that every one of you is blessed with a fulfilling personal life, because every Hoosier has a stake in how well you perform your jobs. On any day, it could be a matter of life and death. But while you do your sworn duty to protect us, remember that your lives matter too, and that you need to seek balance, because balance leads to perspective. And that's what we all want in our lives and careers. Now, I do have one final thought here, that you're going to need as much perspective as you can get, because to be honest, there will always be people who are not going to be willing to give you the benefit of the doubt, no matter what. You've chosen a hard job, but if you do it well, you can be a living example of the state police motto of integrity, service, and professionalism. It's not just about enforcing the law. People are going to be looking to you to be role models of the finest that our state has to offer. So on behalf of millions of my fellow Hoosiers, let me say thank you. And hey, let's be careful out there.
At this time, the oath of office for the 78th recruit class will be administered by the Honorable Mark S. Massa, Justice of the Indiana Supreme Court. Justice Massa was appointed to the Indiana Supreme Court by Governor Mitchell E. Daniels in March of 2012. He took the oath of office as Indiana's 107th Justice on May 7, 2012. Prior to joining the Indiana Supreme Court, Justice Massa was an award-winning journalist and a deputy press secretary and speechwriter for Governor Robert Orr, and served for 15 years as a prosecutor in Marion County, including 7 years as chief counsel to Prosecutor Scott Newman. Justice Massa has also served as an assistant United States attorney and as general counsel to Governor Daniels. He chaired the Alcohol and Tobacco Commission, headed the Criminal Justice Institute, and sat on the Marion County Police Merit Board. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Justice Mark Massa.
Academy, up 10,
Thank you very much. And before I administer the oath, let me just say what a huge honor it is to be a part of this very, very happy evening and to convey the congratulations of my colleagues, Chief Justice Loretta Rush, Justice Stephen David, Justice Jeffrey Slaughter, and Justice Chris Goff. We are all sworn to uphold the rule of law, and I welcome you tonight to that same endeavor, to that same cause, and it's my honor to administer the same oath to you that we take upon our ascension to the court. So if you'll raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear. To promote, protect, and defend. The Constitution and laws of the United States of America. And the state of Indiana. Against all enemies, foreign or domestic. And that I will faithfully and justly discharge. The law enforcement duties entrusted to me. By the Indiana State Police. In a manner that provides. The most professional. Effective. And courteous police service possible at all times. And with every endeavor. According to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations.
Academy, hey, please.
Thank you, sir. I would like to invite Major Danny Price, the Training Division Commander, to come to the podium for a few remarks and begin the introductions of the Academy staff.
The administration of a recruit school requires the cooperation of the entire department. So I'd first like to thank my bosses, Lieutenant Colonel Bilkey, Colonel French, and Superintendent Carter for their support throughout this whole thing. And I also want to thank all the commanders here, as Superintendent Carter did earlier, because without them and their personnel, none of this would be possible. So thank you. But we're here tonight because these ladies and gentlemen have shown the toughness and the desire to complete what is by any measure a rigorous and demanding academy. And as hard as it was, and no doubt how glad you are that it's over, I think you have to admit that it's not only gratifying, but these kinds of experiences tell you something about yourself, really teaches you something about yourself. In 1884, Theodore Roosevelt moved to the Badlands of North Dakota to start a cattle ranch. Now, being a man of means, Roosevelt had no need to start such a business nor endure the hardships of the Wild West. But having recently suffered the death of his mother and his wife on the same day, no less, he decided he needed to change, and he wanted to see the Wild West while it was still wild. So at the age of 28, and being an Easterner with little knowledge of raising cattle or how to survive in such an environment, Teddy Roosevelt started out on the adventure of a lifetime. An adventure that would reveal his character and shape his thinking for the rest of his life. At one point, 2 local thieves stole his boat. It was a boat that he used to cross the river to check his cattle. It was a small wooden boat, not worth much really. But in the wild country where the power of law was little felt or heeded, and where everyone had to rely on himself for protection, Teddy felt that to allow this theft to go unchecked or submit to it tamely would, in his words, only invite certain repetition of the offense, or worse next time. So Roosevelt decided to go after the thieves. In bitter cold and snow, Teddy Roosevelt and 2 ranch hands pursued the thieves for weeks. At one point, the river froze, and instead of turning around, they just camped along the river till it warmed up enough they could continue. Finally, they reached the 2 men, and they took them into custody. But they were short on supplies, so they decided that the 2 men would go back to the ranch, and Roosevelt would take them by himself overland 60 miles to the closest sheriff. He rented a horse and a wagon and figured the safest way was to put the 2 men in the wagon, and he would walk behind them with his Winchester rifle. He walked for 36 straight hours with no sleep and little rest, and he finally turned the men over to the sheriff. So after weeks in freezing weather and 200 miles of pursuit, Roosevelt took 2 men into justice for stealing a worthless boat. He didn't just get the boat back and send the men on their way, nor did he execute the men on the spot, which in that period of time would have been permissible for him to do without fear of punishment. Roosevelt decided to do it the right way. After dropping off his prisoners, he went to the doctor to have his feet looked at because they were bloodied and bruised from the hike. After the doctor heard what had happened, he asked Roosevelt, he said, "Why didn't you just simply shoot the men?" Again, something that would have been acceptable. Roosevelt looked at him and said, "I never thought of it." And there the matter rested. Theodore Roosevelt saw wrong, and he set out to make it right. And the people of the Dakota Territory began to see a little more clearly than they had ever seen before the meaning of government by law. But they also saw that a man of high character acts with integrity even when he doesn't have to. Dr. Harry Reeder said that the circumstances we find ourselves in don't dictate our character, they reveal it. Your circumstances don't dictate your character, they reveal it and give you an opportunity to refine it because none of us are perfect. Over the last 22 weeks, these ladies and gentlemen have endured some tough circumstances themselves, and I would wager that their character has been revealed. We've seen it. We've tried to teach them the law and how to protect themselves and how to drive safely and how to use a weapon, but we've also talked a lot about integrity and doing the right thing, because the best training in the world in this profession will do you no good if your character or integrity is lacking. You're going to be put in many situations in your career where you must do the right thing, even if no one is looking or will ever know. Of course, in today's world, as Mr. Stair said, somebody probably will be looking and probably recording it too. We put you in scenarios during your training to help you make good decisions, and we've talked about protecting your reputation throughout this academy, because just like driving and shooting and fighting, you always return to what you've practiced. You always revert to your training and your experience, especially when put under stress. If you practice and think with right judgments and true integrity, you will act that way when your time of test comes, and you will be tested. I know you've been through a lot in recruit school. It's not always been fun, but as Abraham Lincoln said, anyone can stand adversity. But if you want to test a person's character, give them power. The justice has just given you a lot of power. You have, with good cause, the ability to take away someone's freedom temporarily, something that we value very greatly in this country. How will you handle this power? I hope that you'll always try to start out every interaction, at least start out, even every confrontation, by acting in ways that bring credit to yourself and to the department. At least start out every interaction with the public, treating them like ladies and gentlemen, not necessarily because they are, but because you are. Practice that daily and it will become your default setting. It will reveal your true character. It reminds me a little bit, if I may, of the preacher who couldn't get his lawnmower started. Forgive me, Father. You may have heard this, but the preacher was out in his front yard trying to get his lawnmower started. He's pulling on that rope, pulling on that rope, pulling on that rope, and it wouldn't start. And it was hot, and sweat was dripping down his nose, and he was getting very frustrated. His little neighbor boy was standing over the way watching all this, about 6 years old, and he finally walked over to him. He said, "Preacher, my dad says if you cuss at that thing, it'll start." The preacher said, "Oh, son, I've been a preacher so long, I've forgotten how to cuss." He said, "Well, if you keep pulling on that rope, it'll come back to you." People are going to pull on your rope. They're going to jerk your chain. They're going to push your buttons. You will react as you've been trained and according to your character. I think it was Governor Henry Schricker who said that the strength of the Indiana State Police Department lies in the character of its people. He didn't say our strength lies in the law. He didn't say your strength lies in your ability to fight or drive or shoot. Your strength lies in your character. And if you lose that, you become weak. Theodore Roosevelt had enough experience for 3 lifetimes, but it was always those years in the Dakota Territory that he valued the most because they revealed who he truly was. You will have more and varied experiences in this job than you can imagine, but it will be the weeks of this academy that have set the course for your career and revealed who you really are. Congratulations, you've earned this. Now go out there and do the right thing. There are people that come into your lives that you never forget. Teachers and coaches are examples of that. Probably everybody in here can remember their elementary school teacher. My wife is a teacher. She teaches college now, but she taught primary and secondary for years, and it's a tough job. But they never forget you. You leave an indelible impression. And it's the same way with recruit school counselors. I don't care how long you're on the agency, you never forget your recruit school staff. They leave a lasting impression. So it's my pleasure to start this off by more formally introducing Captain Dana Harshman. Captain Harshman is an 18-year veteran of the Indiana State Police, having graduated from the 60th Recruit Academy. She was assigned to the Indianapolis District, where she became a field training officer very quickly. She returned to recruit school to be a counselor herself in the 63rd Academy. In 2008, she was promoted to sergeant to serve as the district squad leader, supervising a squad of troopers in Indianapolis. In 2013, she was assigned to the Executive Protection Section, serving then Governor Pence and his family. In 2014, she was promoted to First Sergeant to serve as the Assistant District Commander at the Indianapolis District. And in 2017, she was promoted to her current position as Assistant Division Commander of the Training Division. She's been a long-time control tactics instructor. She's a distinguished expert in firearms, having earned a possible pin for a perfect qualification score in 2007. She was the first and currently the only female officer to do that. Her background and experience make her uniquely qualified to work alongside myself and Lieutenant Nikki Crawford as we lead the training division. Captain Dana Harshman.
I would like to take this opportunity to recognize the 78th Recruit Academy staff. Unfortunately, First Sergeant Tom Hannon, the commander of the Academy, could not be here tonight as his oldest daughter is currently graduating from the University of Evansville. First Sergeant Hannon was appointed as a trooper in 1985 and just started his 33rd year of service with the Indiana State Police. Throughout his career, he has served in many roles, including field training officer, K-9 officer, high-performance vehicle trooper, a member of the Clandestine Laboratory Investigations Team, the Tactical Intervention Platoon, and 18 years on the SWAT team. He is a certified instructor in control tactics, firearms, emergency vehicle operations, CPR, first aid, and radar. His countless experiences give him a unique perspective on many aspects of this agency and make him eminently qualified to be the leader of our recruit school. However, with us tonight, and please stand when I call your name, Sergeant Mike Wood, Assistant Commander of the Academy. Senior Trooper Brent Robinson, Senior Counselor. Senior Trooper Barry Bischoff, Senior Counselor. Trooper Andrew Garrett, Squad A Counselor. Trooper Aaron Allen, Squad B Counselor. Senior Trooper Zachariah Rubel, Squad C Counselor, and Trooper Nicole Cheeks, Squad D Counselor. These individuals volunteered and participated in a selection process to be considered as a counselor for this Academy class. A little information about these. These 7 individuals between them have the following credentials: 5 college degrees, 11 instructor certifications, 4 have served in the U.S. military, 2 in the Army, 1 in the Air Force, and 1 in the Marine Corps. We have a current crash reconstructionist and a former K-9 handler. Together, they have served with the Indiana State Police Department for over 65 years. The recruits will tell you that these counselors demanded nothing less than their absolute best when it came to all facets of Academy life and training. I am honored to have worked with these troopers and know these recruits are the best that they can be because of their efforts. So to them, thank you. At this time, if Sergeant Wood and the Academy staff would join me on stage, as it is now time to present the members of the 78th Recruit class with their Indiana State Police badge, officer ID, oath of office of certificate, and law enforcement training board certificate.
Anyone in the audience who would like to take photographs at this time may do so, but please do not block the procession of probationary troopers as they go to and from the stage area.
20 feet. Please.
Luis H. Alvarez, Toll Road District. Nicholas A. Anderson, Toll Road District. Braden K. Angermeyer, Evansville District. Mackenzie L. Benham, Sellersburg District. Jacob E. Bill, Toll Road District. Teresa M. Bowling, Jasper District. Adam J. Carroll, Fort Wayne District. William R. Clark, Putnamville District. Thad L. Decker, Lafayette District. Matthew J. Dickerson, Jr., Pendleton District. Keith A. Doyle, Toll Road District. Jared H. Ferguson, Sellersburg District. Benjamin A. Fike, Lafayette District. Clay E. Ford, Jasper District. Jonathan R. Fulfer, Lafayette District. Patrick J. Gallagher, Jasper District. Dennis L. Griffin, Lowell District. Christian J. Guerrera Beltran, Indianapolis District. Brandon L. Helmer, Lafayette District. Probationary Trooper Helmer's badge will be presented by his father, First Sergeant Trevor Helmer, Investigations, Evansville District. Logan L. Hensley, Toll Road District. Alejandro G. Hernandez, Toll Road District. Chance P. Humphrey, Bloomington District. Tanner S. Hurley, Evansville District. Thomas V. Johnson, Toll Road District. Robert N. Jonas, Versailles District. Kevin C. King, Lowell District. Adam J. Kitson, Toll Road District. Dukinston Lavash, Peru District. Blake A. Littmer, Versailles District. Nathan T. Littlefield, Toll Road District. Probationary Trooper Littlefield's badge will be presented by his father, retired Detective Tom Littlefield, Bremen District. Jenna L. Macon, Toll Road District. Andrew C. Mattern, Putnamville District. Clay D. McBride, Lowell District. Hunter C. McCord, Indianapolis District. Dakota D. Michael, Lafayette District. Christopher N. Rainey, Jasper District. Derek K. Rhine, Peru District. Samuel A. Rodino, Indianapolis District. Michael J. Rodriguez, Evansville District. Israel R. Rizio, Lowell District. Brian P. Runyon, Lowell District. Dean C. Ryderson, Indianapolis District. Aaron N. Smith, Indianapolis District. Zentravian K. Stewart, Evansville District. Stephen M. Stone King, Versailles District. Gerald D. Stump, Jr., Putnamville District. Joshua W. Thayer, Indianapolis District. Jonathan D. Troyer, Indianapolis District. Tyler N. Turchie, Lafayette District. Probationary Trooper Turchie's badge will be presented by his father, retired Detective Frank Turchie, Terre Haute District. Samuel A. Wagner, Bloomington District. Benjamin I. Walker, Toll Road District. Mason R. Wiley, Lafayette District. James C. Williams, Indianapolis District. Carrie E. Woodard, Indianapolis District. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause to recognize the 78th Indiana State Police Recruit Academy class. Superintendent Carter will now present the Firearms Proficiency Award to the top marksman in the class and the Superintendent's Award to the top recruit in the class. The Firearms Proficiency Award is awarded to the recruit who shoots the highest average score during firearms qualifications. This average is based on 3 consecutive handgun qualification courses and 3 consecutive shotgun qualification courses. The recipient for this award scored 100% in both the handgun and shotgun course. The recipient of the 78th Recruit Academy Firearms Proficiency Award is Probationary Trooper Dean C. Ryderson. The Superintendent's Award is presented to the recruit who during academy stood out academically, physically, and strived to truly be the best of the best. This recruit excelled not only in the classroom, but also in firearms, defensive tactics, emergency vehicle operations, and in the view of the academy staff, epitomized the characteristics of a future trooper. The recipient of the 78th Recruit Academy Superintendent's Award is Probationary Trooper Adam J. Kitson. I would now ask Probationary Trooper Joshua W. Thayer to step up to the podium for comments from the 78th Recruit Academy class.
Good evening. It's an honor and a privilege to be before you this evening and speak on behalf of the 78th Indiana State Police Recruit Academy class. I want to extend a very special welcome to Superintendent Douglas Carter and primary staff, Indiana State Police Board members, Supreme Court Justice Honorable Mark Massa, Indiana Law Enforcement Academy Executive Director Mr. Tim Horty, Mr. Bob Goad, our keynote speaker, Mr. John Stair, survivor families, distinguished guests, Ohio State Highway Patrol officers, other law enforcement personnel, families, and friends. 151 days ago, 63 individuals were required to report to the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. These 63 individuals underwent a rigorous application process. This included an application, written examination, PT test, oral interviews, background investigation, polygraph, the superintendent's review, medical and psychological testing, and before we could bear the name of an Indiana State Police recruit, we had to undergo another physical fitness test. As soon as we arrived on that hot Sunday afternoon, little did we know what we were getting ourselves into. Little did we know about the values that would be instilled and the invaluable lessons that we would be taught. Immediately, we learned the value of proactively listening to instructions, albeit something as simple as bringing a pen to the line on the very first day of the academy. We've learned the significance of paying special attention to detail by making our bed to meet a certain set of standards each and every day, or by writing the name of the instructor on the board before class, as well as by squaring our uniforms away for routine inspections, and by assisting the academy staff clean and detail their patrol cars before their annual inspection. We've come to appreciate teamwork and the community that this agency has to offer. We learned that together we can accomplish far more than any one individual can. That problem solving and thinking critically together can expedite a resolution. We've learned about the commitment and the sacrifice of those that have gone before us. And we honored those individuals each and every morning before breakfast by reading a biography and commending their sacrifice. Without those individuals, the Indiana State Police would not be what it is today. Each and every one of my fellow classmates could not be more proud to join this team and be a part of this agency, to join this statewide family. After we leave and graduate today, Evansville troopers are going to know those at the toll road. Pendleton troops will know those in Lafayette. This idea of family, which has been mentioned over and over tonight, is just one of the reasons that makes this agency so incredibly special. Some of us may never see each other again. Others of us will only see each other at the races or the state fair. Regardless, I am confident that I have 53 new brothers and new sisters as part of my family. Over the course of the past 22 weeks, we've learned how to persevere through hard times together. Albeit when our water bottles and our shoes would be in disarray and we had to come together somehow, some way to solve that problem. We grew together as a class as we worked through the challenges that this training presented us with. We successfully completed 80 hours of criminal law, which included hundreds of note cards, hours of study groups, and sleepless nights. We took on traffic law and came through again together, having more understanding and more knowledge of what it would take to do this job. We had numerous 8+ hour days of literally rolling around in the mat room as we were taught controlled tactics. We survived OC spray, and together we wished and we hoped for more water to rinse our eyes out with. We came through the longest 5 seconds of our lives while being tased, and fought tooth and nail in our 2-on-1 and our 1-on-1 fights. Each of us successfully passed handgun and shotgun qualifications. We've also been taught how to drive and continually reminded to not drive beyond what we're capable of. We persevered at the quickening, our final exam, if you will, which culminated in a pinning ceremony where we received our cherished ISP insignias, which we wear on our collars tonight. Guy Vertali, an American speaker, writer, and entrepreneur, reminds us that persistence and resilience only come from having been given the chance to work through difficult problems. We came together and we grew as a class by working through these problems. Eventually, what was once 63 became the 54 that are here tonight. These changes caused for reflection amongst ourselves, as a class, and individually. Made us appreciate even more the opportunity that we have before us tonight, and good Lord willing, the rest of our career. It also helped us better understand the risks associated with what we're about to do. Not only have we experienced change at the academy over the course of these last 22 weeks, some of us have moved from another state. Some of us have had kids. Some of us have even gotten married. Some have experienced loss. All of these experiences, combined with our experiences together at the academy, have brought us to this point tonight. Not only to graduation, but closer together as a class, a family. None of this would have been possible if it wasn't for the outstanding academy staff that came alongside of us each and every step of the way. First Sergeant Tom Hannon, Sergeant Wood, Senior Trooper Robinson, Senior Trooper Bischoff, Trooper Garrett, Trooper Allen, Senior Trooper Rubel, and Trooper Cheeks were tremendous mentors, counselors throughout every step of the process. These individuals sacrificed many nights away from their families, tons of their own personal time, and many good meals in order to see that we could be where we are today. They were there for us from the start to keep us in line, discipline us when necessary, and all the while groom us to where we are today, preparing to be sworn in as Indiana State Police troopers. Each one of these individuals impacted us individually and in different ways. Many enjoyed the talks on the upper deck until taps with Trooper Garrett, Trooper Allen, Senior Trooper Rubel, and Sergeant Wood. Others of us, including myself, enjoyed the evening runs with Senior Trooper Bischoff, which not only allowed us to get some fresh air and off the grounds for a little while, but he made it a point to listen to us to get to know us, and to hear how we were doing. We appreciated the times that Senior Trooper Robinson would stop us in the hallway and simply ask, "How are you doing?" and listen. None of this would be here today if it wasn't for First Sergeant Hannon and his extraordinary leadership. First Sergeant Hannon gave a tremendous amount of his time to instill in each and every one of us the values that this job, this career requires. He took the time to get to know us individually. He was always an outstanding example of what an Indiana State Trooper should be. He exemplified doing the right thing at the right time for the right reasons from day one. He continually reminded us to stay in our lane and off the rumble strips. And when we didn't, he swiftly got us back on track. Every day he would ask, "Can everybody hear me?" Well, I'm confident that we heard First Sergeant, and many of the lessons that we learned at this academy, we will take with us as a direct result of his extraordinary leadership. There is without a doubt no one more qualified to lead the Indiana State Police Recruit Academy than that of First Sergeant Tom Hannon. I also want to take time to thank the numerous instructors, some of which are here tonight, that gave up their time to invest in us as recruits. Being an instructor requires a tremendous amount of patience, and our instructors routinely demonstrated that as we learned exactly what it would take to do this job. Before I close this evening, I'd be remiss to not thank those who have supported us from a distance over the course of the past 22 weeks. Wives, including my amazing wife, Alyssa, husbands, fathers, mothers, loved ones, entire families, and friends. Thank you for being patient with us on the weekends when we would come home utterly exhausted. For listening to us lament for 30 minutes during our daily phone calls. For the consistent and the constant encouragement. And for being bold enough to remind us to push through even when we felt we could not or did not want to push anymore. And for also reminding us that in the end, it would be worth it. While this most definitely is not the end, rather it's just the beginning. Each and every one of us can say that this feeling of accomplishment and success that we're feeling as a result of this evening is directly because of you. Finally, before you today is 54 individuals who have taken the pledge to serve and protect with integrity, excellence, and strong commitment to their communities. While the training that we all received is the same, each and every one of us come from diverse and different backgrounds. Some come from law enforcement families, as we've seen tonight, and have dreamt of following in their father or their mother's footsteps and becoming a state trooper. Some of us are right out of college and eagerly await what will be our first full-time job. Many come from diverse work backgrounds, including automotive, landscaping, education, construction, robotics, farming, and much more. We know that the career that we are embarking on tonight won't always be easy, that we'll see things that we will not be able to unsee, that society will not always appreciate or understand what we do. But what brings this class together is the undeniable and distinct calling to serve, to protect, and to be a part of something that's much, much bigger than ourselves. Scripture reminds us in Psalm 82 to defend the weak and the fatherless, uphold the cause of the poor and of the oppressed, rescue the weak and the needy, deliver them from the hand of the wicked. May we be forever grateful for this opportunity. My hope for this class is that we will never forget who and what we stand for. That as we step out, we'll continually be reminded about the leadership that's required of us. Why? Because at the end of the day, the safety and the future of Indiana depends on it. Because at the end of the day, there is no challenge too great for Class 78. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the benediction given by Chaplain Coffey and remain standing for the retirement of the colors as well as the exit of the 78th Recruit Academy class. Once the ceremony is over, you may use any part of the rotunda to pin badges on your new Indiana State Police probationary troopers. Our official photographer will be making his way around the State House to take photos of this special moment. Also behind me, behind the curtain, there'll be a special place where you can take family photos. There's a screen set up back there for that. So please use that at your convenience. Please be careful driving as you make your way either to your hotel room or home tonight. Thank you for attending tonight's ceremony. We hope it was as special for you as it was for us. Chaplain Coffey.
Thank you, sir. As we now depart from this heartwarming and inspirational event to return or proceed to our respective areas of service, O Lord, we are encouraged by your ancient words of promise. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.